Here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, movie lovers, I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson. We are the hosts of the Next Reel Film Podcast.
If you're passionate about films like we are, you'll love our show. Each week, we dive deep into a movie, discussing everything from the story and performances to the cinematography and score.
Not to mention budgets and awards. We have covered iconic series like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, examining themes of power, family, and the dark side of the American dream.
We've explored the works of groundbreaking directors like Catherine Bigelow, discussing her mastery of tension.
We've looked at heist films, great car chases, great years in film, couples on the run, and more.
Our discussions go beyond the surface, examining what makes each film tick. We believe that when the movie ends, the conversation begins.
And we'd love for you to join that conversation. Find the Next Reel Film Podcast on your favorite podcast app or at thenextreel.com.
The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Howdy, folks. Just want to jump in here real quick and let you know, apparently a gremlin, or maybe a billiken, got into my computer during the recording of this episode and decided to switch mics on me for the last 15 minutes of the episode. They switched it from the podcasting mic to my internal computer mic, so you're going to hear a change in quality in the last 15 minutes. We apologize. We have since exercised the studio and all of the recording equipment, and so we should be good to go for next time. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Okay. And with that out of the way, please enjoy the show. Coming up on The Devil's Details, Cerberberbubus is back. Dante's Inferno, Part 2. Good morning, Star Lovelies, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Kynan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. And just a reminder, today's episode was originally recorded as bonus content for our first podcast, The Exorcist Minute, so I think we should hand it over. Take it away, past Lester and Kynan. In solidarity with the SAG-AFTRA strike. And folks, yes, I am so excited today because we are continuing our descent into Dante's Inferno. Although, for as much as it's called Inferno, we haven't seen a whole lot of fire. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kynan, what do you remember from our last episode and our first part of Dante's Inferno?
Yeah. If I recall, there is no fire yet. There's wind and there's maggots and there's a lot of sighing, right? Yeah. So Dante wakes up in the forest and he sees a couple animals that are bad portents of stuff, and he meets his favorite writer of all time, who is Virgil. And Virgil's like, "Oh shit, you're Dante. You're the best. Come with me. We're gonna go through hell. But the point of going through hell is to get to purgatory, which is the point to go to purgatory is to get through heaven. And you're this girl Beatrice, who you love, is up there. She's waiting for you. Her and the Virgin Mary,
who definitely loves you.
Oh, yes.
Who absolutely just adores you and knows that you exist." Mr. Dante.
Yeah. So they go through a couple of pre-hell sections.
Yeah.
Like there's a road full of maggots and everything. And then there's also something like the river Styx, but it's called the river something else.
Acheron.
Yeah. And then we get...
They meet Karen or Charon.
You don't want to meet Karen.
No.
And then we've gone so far through two circles. One is for the noble pagans.
Right.
So these are like pre-Christian people who weren't baptized and they didn't sin, but it also includes some Muslims. And then what's the second one?
Dante, come on.
We got...
This first circle is also known as Limbo.
Limbo time, just up a limbo rhyme.
Yeah.
and then we get to the lust circle.
Yes, the lust circle.
Yes, and that's all wind and lust.
And you can tell because there's so much lust. Dante and Virgil just lifting up their shoes like, ew. Lucky they have sandals.
Yeah, that's right. They don't let them take their sandals in there into the lust room.
Right, yeah. But this is the circle where everyone's getting blown by winds.
Yeah. There's not a lot of sex going on in the lust circle, right?
No. I guess that's the antipasta or what is it?
The contrapasso.
The contrapasso.
Yeah. Right. It's like you don't get what you want, right? Or it suits it because you're being violently thrown around like as if by your passions, right?
So there's not a lot of sex in this lust room, but he hears this crazy soap opera type story between what are their names?
Paolo and Francesca.
Yeah, and Paolo was Francesca's brother-in-law, and she left her husband for Paolo, and Dante is like, that's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard in the history of man, and he faints.
I want to know what translation of the Divine Comedy you're reading, because I gotta get my hands on that. And so Dante Alighieri is like, that's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Right. Out of everything, I'm a very learned man, but this affair where a married woman leaves her husband, OMG, y'all.
Yeah. And then faints dead away, right? But yeah, so it actually it looks like Dante's waking up now.
Oh,
hey,
buddy.
Yeah, he looks well rested. It's been a whole week. So let's pick him up and dust him off and let's die.
Only if he gives us a 5-star review.
I mean, I got Circles of Hell reserved specifically for that. No, but yeah, let's follow him back into hell. All right, so here we are in Cantos 6. 6. But we are only in the third circle of hell. Yes, I am also getting mixed up, listeners. I really wish the cantos and the circles matched, but hey, we're in hell. This is ADHD hell, and I'm trying to keep track. Yeah, so we are in circle 3, canto 6. 6. Okay, so Dante wakes up to filthy, freezing rain and slush. And we all know what sin those things signify, Kynan. What sin is synonymous with filthy, freezing rain and slush?
Keeping up your Christmas decorations after January.
Oh, I'm definitely down there now. I might have to change mine. But let me just pretend, Kynan, that you said gluttony.
Sure, you're the fan fiction writer here. I can say whatever you want me to say.
Yeah, gluttony, folks. It makes perfect sense, right? When I think of freezing rain and filthy sleet and hail and slush, like that's when my tummy begins to rumble, and I'm like, you know what? I actually am gonna have that last slice of pizza, right?
That's right.
Screw those other guys. I'm having it. And when I wake up in hell in the hang on. Third circle, and Virgil is like, do you know why you're here? I'm going to be like, yeah, and it was worth it.
Yeah, it turned out it's a Pizza Hut commercial. You look right in the camera.
And Virgil's in frame too, so he looks up. He's like, eh?
Right, and you have one of those long pizza commercial fake cheese strings that just goes on and on and on as the pizza separates.
Yeah, 9 circles. It's just,
Yeah, it's really Elmer's glue that they've added to the pizza.
And in hell, it actually is. It's like, wow. But it looks really tasty. Right? So all the people in the previous circle, which is the second circle, right? They're all being tantalized. They're like, oh, that pizza looks really good. Oh, no, wait, no. That pizza looks really good. They don't know it's glue. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, but no. So this circle is the circle of gluttony. This is where you go if you are a glutton. And I've heard scholars talk about how, like, the ceaseless rain and snow, like, mirrors their ceaseless, endless hunger. Like as much food and drink as you consumed, that's how much, like, rain and mud you're forced to, like, endure.
Yeah, so but it could have been like, like eternity, sure, but it could be like eternal vomiting or like overfullness or bursting,
That's what I was I thought it would have more to do with food. Like food and drink is either like just out of reach for all eternity, or you're being like stuffed endlessly, right? And it's painful to the point where you throw up and you gotta eat that too, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this is Dante. Dante is a classy dude, right? He doesn't go in for any of that. No.
Right.
Just putting all women in the circle of lust. That's Dante's MO. Right.
Except for Beatrice, who
he barely knew.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so what he does go in for is Greek mythology, come to find.
Right.
Filling out his own personal hell. So here in the sixth circle,
the third,
the third circle, we got none other than the demon doggo himself, the goodest boy times 3, Cerberberbububus, right?
There he is.
Yeah, well, it's been a while, right? And he's barking and he's biting and he's clawing at all the souls down here. And once again, right, he sees Dante, right, and he's like, right. But then Virgil reaches down and picks up some mud and tosses it into each of Cerberberbubus's mouths. And now he's quiet and they can pass.
Yeah. And that mud that had represented gluttony does not, in this instance, represent that.
Well, see, I don't know. Like, the way Dante writes it, it's not like Virgil was being cruel. It's as if he tossed him a treat.
Right.
And Dante actually compares Cerberberbubus's, like, to a barking dog that is quiet after receiving a treat. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know what we're like. Is that what they eat down here?
Right, but again, they should maybe not eat anything would be the
right.
Point.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I guess it's supposed to symbolize food,
That's devil's food.
Yeah, no, that's chocolate. You can't give a dog chocolate.
Yeah, but he can deal with it. He's a hellhound. He could probably.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I'm worried about Cerberus.
Fine, he's also not real.
Oh, okay, fine.
And he's Virgil's not real. Cerberus is real.
Well, Virgil is real, Kynan. We went over this. Just not this Virgil. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, anyway. So they're walking along. This is Dante and Virgil, right? Yeah, Cerberus is eating his mud.
Right.
So they're walking along in this pouring rain, and one of the souls sits up and starts talking to Dante. This is Ciaco, or at least that's what his friends call him, according to Ciaco, right?
Right.
It either means pig or is a common name for a pig, like Rover would be for a dog, right?
Right.
Or Cerberus, right? But yeah, so Ciaco asks Dante if he remembers him, and Dante says he doesn't. And I tried to look this guy up. It doesn't help that Ciaco isn't actually his actual name.
Right.
But I get the sneaking suspicion that Dante is basing this off someone he actually knows, right? Like the way that like they talk to each other. I'm like, you know this guy, and now he's in your fantasy. He's in your fantasy hell, and you're pretending that you don't recognize him, like he's like a vagrant on the street, right? I think that's what's going on here, right?
Yeah, and he'll know when he reads this.
Ciaco knows who he is, right? Because everybody. Well, actually, I'm the only one who called him Ciaco. But he'll know by that.
Yeah,
right?
But in this one, he calls himself Ciaco. Right?
Yeah.
So in Dante's version, it was like, oh yeah, people call me fat ugly Bob, fat ugly acne-filled Bob who smells real bad.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what I like to call myself.
Yeah, because I'm so stupid and I
So
eat poopy and
stupid.
doo-doo.
I eat poopy doo-doo and nobody likes me. And my jokes are lame. And I don't get invited to parties.
This is culture, folks. This is culture. But yeah, okay. So that's what he's doing. So then Ciaco asks Dante to please remember his name when he gets back to the land of the living, and Dante's like, of course, sure. But Ciaco's not actually his name. So now, thanks to Dante,
right.
If this guy ever did exist, his real name is forgotten, and he's only known as Ciaco the Pig.
Yeah, I'm sure Dante loves that.
Yeah, Dante's yeah, right. But yeah, okay. Let's give this circle a makeover. Kynan Alighieri, who is in your third circle of hell, and how are they getting got?
Oh, I would say food wasters. Like,
okay.
Like it's one thing, you get a meal and it's too much, and you're like, well, this is bad for me to eat, and I'm not going to do it. But like. Have you ever been to like a banquet and they have some like food art or something?
Oh, yeah. But it's real food. It's actual food.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not supposed to eat it, and it's just supposed to sit there, and it's like wasteful like that. That really bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So these people are in that circle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. So not you at home who are like, okay, well, I shouldn't eat this. It's too much. Like that's fine.
Right.
But yeah, the people who are using food for non-food purposes and just wasting it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
so any of those prankers who like
oh yeah.
Like throw pies at you or yeah.
Right. Yes, exactly. That's a good one. Yeah. So they're contrapasso. They're suffering. They're ironic suffering. I would say like they get cooked up as a meal or whatever, and then they're just not eating. They're just sitting there.
Oh, I see.
They're just rotting as cooked food somewhere.
So they get cooked up as a meal,
right?
And then
they're
not
still
eaten.
Sentiently alive, right?
Yeah. I see. And served up on a platter. I mean, like going back to our second circle, I think that's some people's kink as well.
Have you seen?
I'm just a pig with an apple in my mouth. Not judging folks.
Like naked sushi?
Yes. Yes.
I haven't been to one, but
I've never been to one.
Disgusting to me. Like it sounds awful to me.
Wow, that is a thing that happens in Japan.
In Japan too. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's where it originated.
Oh,
from.
I saw it in America, and I was like, this is gross.
Oh,
So it's like usually a naked woman who acts as a table, basically, and then they put delicate, beautiful sushi arrangements on them. You're supposed to eat off of her.
Listeners are furiously Googling right now.
That's just
for those who want to know, the Japanese name is Nyotai Mori. So it says NyotaiMori. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So go not on a work computer, but yeah. Yep. But that's a thing that happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah.
And what about you?
Yeah. So okay. So for the Circle of Hell, right? Like,
yeah.
I was about to answer. Oh no, I'd love that to be a sushi platter. No.
But where do they put the wasabi, Lester?
You don't want to know. Don't think about it. Yeah. But no. Okay. So yeah, my. God, what is this? Is this Circle 3?
This is Circle 3.
This is Circle 3. Okay. So my Circle 3. So I made that joke up top about the last slice of pizza, right? So you might think I'm going to condemn the person who, at the party who eats that last slice of pizza, but no, I am condemning that slice of pizza. It knows exactly what it's doing.
That's right.
Sitting there looking all delicious, right? Stirring up resentment between you and your friends, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that pizza is going to be fed to Cerberberbubus, right? Especially because Cerberus is just looking at you with those 6 huge puppy dog eyes, right? Like,
that's right.
You gave him a pepperoni earlier, but that's one pepperoni like divided by 3. Like that's not enough, right? So no, we're breaking that last piece up and we're giving it to Cerberus. Yeah. And that's so this circle is specifically for last pieces of food,
right?
Because it's so tempting, and it gets fed all. So actually, that works out, Kynan, because all that food art, all that wasted food gets fed to Cerberus.
Oh, that's good.
He gets to have it. Yeah.
Thanks, Cerberus.
There you go. All right. Anything for a good boy. Okay, so here we are in Cantos 7, and we are in the. Hang on, 4th Circle of Hell.
Yeah, 7 divided by 2 is 4.
Right. Yes. And the first thing we see, right? Because remember, we were just talking about Cerberus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we see is another good boy.
Aww.
Only this one has just got the one head, right?
Boo! Boo! Give him the middle finger.
Hey! All dogs are good in my mind.
Well, all dogs have gone to hell so far in our story.
What? Yeah. What the hell, Dante? Jeez. So far, it's women and dogs. Sheesh. And really smart people, apparently.
That's right.
It's women and dogs and really smart people. Yeah, okay, but anyway, so this is Plutus. He is the Greek god of wealth. Again, with the Greek mythology here, Dante.
Yeah, so that cleared up something for me. So there's this idea of a plutocracy, which is, like an oligarchy, you've heard that, or like democracy, right? So a plutocracy is a society that's ruled by the rich.
Oh.
And I've never understood it because I thought that was like meaning Pluto, which is basically the Roman version of Hades, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so they're like, rich people are like death. Is that what we're saying? But no, it's some other guy. It's Plutus, who I've never heard of until today.
Yeah. Thanks, ancient Greeks, for making your gods sound so similar.
Right.
So we got. That's the Pluto is Roman.
That's right.
He's the Roman version of Hades. So Plutus, that is Greek. He is the god of wealth. Only here in Dante's version, he guards the Circle of Hell reserved for the greedy and the avaricious. And he is singing a song. And Kynan, I was wondering if you could be so kind as to give us a rendition of Plutus's little ditty here.
Okay, so he's the god of wealth. He's the Greek god of wealth. He is a dog.
Yes.
And he's in hell. Okay, great.
Yeah. Now, also, Dante specifically says that he is singing in a clucking voice.
I don't know if I could. All right, well, so see what we can do. A clucking voice.
Yes.
Give me. What does that mean? A clucking voice?
I don't know what that. Hey, I'm not Dante. Okay.
Okay. Let's try this out. Right. I'm Plutus the god. Cluck, 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 cluck. I've got the head of a dog. Cluck, 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 cluck. And I have all my wealth for you all in hell. Cluck, 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 bark, bark. Thank you.
I should not have been drinking. Why? Because I take a sip of my chamomile tea whenever I'm not talking.
That's right.
To preserve my voice. But sometimes my co-host says very, very funny things. But no, Kynan, in Dante's Inferno, there are actually words to this song.
Was I supposed to pull that up earlier?
Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
No, I thought you were doing what a bad improv partner does.
No.
It's just like, hey, you do the show here for a while and you make up a song.
While I sip my chamomile tea, yes.
What am I supposed to be reading?
No. It's the beginning of Canto 6.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Or no, Canto 7, sorry.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I wrote a song that's not as good.
I know. It's better.
Inferno, Canto 7.
Okay.
All right.
So
we've got
do
the
with
text
that
now.
what you will.
All right. So I'm not going to improvise. This isn't me anymore. This is Dante.
This is Dante Alighieri.
Plutus's little ditty in the clucking voice. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Papa Satan, you are my king.
Breathtaking.
Thank you.
It's like I'm there.
In hell?
Yes. No, you know what I mean. But yeah, that very interesting. So, he's taking Plutus, this god from another religion, and he's having him sing this like silly song, like Papa Satan, you are my king. Yeah.
Yes.
So
in a clucking voice.
He's a dog. He's a wolf, right? You would be thinking, I don't know. I don't understand it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they see him doing this, and Virgil turns to Dante, and he's like, "You don't need to be afraid of him." And Dante's like, "I wasn't."
That's right.
No, actually, Virgil's like, "Look, he's been rehearsing this his entire cheer squad ditched him,
right?
But we're letting him do it anyway because it'll make him feel better. So just act like you really like it." And Plutus sees that he has an audience, and he's like, "Ready, okay," and he does his whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. And Dante and Virgil are like, whoa, and they're clapping. It's like, that was amazing. And Plutus is like, really, you think it was good? And Virgil's like, it's like, no, you really sold it. Like, I felt like there was a whole cheer squad behind you, right? And Plutus, his little eyes get so big, and he's like, really? And Dante's like, yeah, like the way you were shaking those pom poms, it was mesmerizing. And Plutus is like, it's like, yeah, I had to improvise. There's no pom poms down here, so I just used sinners' heads, and they're like, oh yeah, that explains the blood.
Right? They're like, oh, that was really, really good. Everything about that was great, and you're so rich. You have so much money. Thank you so much.
It was awesome. It was great, right? But honestly, that kind of innovation, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of spirit, that's the thing that's gonna bring the Billikens back to the big leagues, right?
Go Billikens!
Go Billikens! Wait, actually, okay, that's a real team. Kynan, what is the sports team down in hell? Like, what are they called?
Oh yeah. So it's like the red, like there's the red socks, so they'd be like the red footy pajamas.
For their cloven hooves, is that what this is?
Yeah, exactly.
The red song, yeah.
Right.
I feel it's like all the Earth ones are like something fierce, right? Like it's like it's a ferocious animal or a pirate or a cowboy, right?
Wildcats, yeah.
Or a horrible racial stereotype. That's what we do on Earth. I feel like down in hell they got like team names like the koalas.
Oh,
or
really
the
cute, yeah.
The cuecas, or the sea otters, right? Or the capybaras, right?
Yeah. I like a tardigrade. You have seen those?
What is a tardigrade?
They're microscopic little animals, and they're incredibly cute.
Oh, I think
water
I know
bears. Yeah,
right?
water bears.
The water.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, those guys are cute, right? Yeah. So it's that, right? And every circle in hell has a team, right? And a stadium, right? So on Sundays, right? Because that's all they do on Sundays, right? It's like, all right, get ready. All the way from Circle 7, the Chihuahuas going up against the Pomeranians from Circle 4.
So cuddly.
Yeah, right. But the real actual game is like horrible and gruesome. They're like torturing, sinners and stuff like that.
It takes forever, and you never get out. Or you can never leave early enough to escape the traffic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, so where are we? Circle
4, 7 divided by 2.
Yeah. So Virgil does his thing, right? He tells Plutus to let them pass, and Plutus does. And
what, it's like, oh God, it's God.
Yeah, God, it's the management, right? Yeah. So now they're in a valley filled with people pushing these heavy weights at each other, right? It almost sounds like it does sound like a game, actually, right? Like it's like they're lined up on either side of the valley, like jousting. Like in fact, Dante actually uses uses that word, jousting, right? And Virgil explains that these are the hoarders and the squanderers, right? Talking about team names, right? So these are the people who either hoarded all their money and possessions or squandered them away, right? And now they got to roll around these weights for all eternity, right? And they start rolling weights at each other, and they meet in the center and they crash together and they start arguing. It was like, why do you hoard? Why do you squander? Right? And then they continue just like rolling to the other side, and then they turn around and then they do it all over again, right?
And they have to ask every time. After 1,000 times doing this, they still have to ask.
And nobody ever answers. Right? So, I'm glad you asked. I actually squander because...
Right, because, it comes back to the way my father raised me. And, I think about that now, retrospectively.
Right. Well, I hoard because we always used to, save Christmas wrapping paper and,
Straight to hell.
Straight to hell.
Ninth circle.
Ninth circle.
Christmas wrapping paper. Bah humbug.
Bah humbug, yes. But yeah, so and Dante's like, by their shaven heads, I can tell that some of them are clergy, but I don't recognize any of them. And Virgil's, he says something about how their greed has stripped them of their individuality.
Okay.
Like they're all the same now, just greedy souls, right? So this is Dante trying to be like, I can name some names here, but like Virgil's like, no, they all look the same now, right?
Right. Yeah, there's not just clergy, right? Like popes and bishops and things.
So this is Dante's way of saying it's people from the church. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So then Virgil starts talking about.
Hold on a second. But that also confuses me because he dislikes some of the people, right? Some of the popes, but in his whole politics thing, it's about he's part of the faction that favored the Pope's rule of Italy over the Roman Empire. So it's just confusing to me.
Yeah, it is a little bit confusing.
I wish it was simple, but
Yeah, right. I wish history were simple.
Right. These are politics that are beyond our
ken.
Yeah. Exactly. It's hard for us to look back there and
Yeah. Hashtag not all popes, right? But no. Yeah. So Dante definitely has something to say about certain clergy members and popes, even though he is of that religion, right?
Right.
Which is, it's so he's going to find a lot of people who are political rivals, and then a lot of people who are, I guess, like religious hypocrites.
Right.
So yeah. So
because he was exiled from Florence by the Pope, or not directly, but because of the Pope who got elected and changed all the policies. Right.
Yeah. And then Virgil goes on to he starts talking about fortune as if she were a person or a deity that God has allowed to spread wealth amongst humanity. And he explains how even though fortune was good to these people, they abused the gifts that she gave them. Right? So there we go. And that's
not like an uncommon thing, right? Like we still have an idea, even if we're Christians, of like, even though again it's not biblical, right, or scriptural, like death as a personified thing, or fate, even,
right. Or Lady Luck, or
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what Virgil's saying.
Or one twin is want, and the other is ignorance.
Oh yes, there we go. Right, ignorance and want. Right. Oh yes, those poor little kids. But yeah, and then so in the same canto, we enter the next circle. This is where like my OCD just gets like, you're still in one canto, right? So we're getting two circles in one here, folks.
Maybe a canto for him was based on like the size of his sheets of like his notebooks, basically.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Like whenever we fill this one up, that's the next canto. Deal with it. No one's going to read this. No one's going to be studying this 800 years later.
Yeah. Podcast. What's that? Yeah. But yeah. So next, Dante and Virgil go to the fifth circle.
Right. 7 divided by 2 is 5.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which houses both the wrathful and the slothful.
And now that's so great. So now we have circled 2 different sins.
Yes, right. So this is what I'm saying, Kynan. This is hell for me. By the way, sloths. That's another good team name.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, yes, right. Yes. The game takes forever. But yeah, so okay, this canto is doing quadruple duty here, folks. Right. Not only do we got 2 circles, but each circle seems to hold 2 types of sinners, right? So we just passed through circle 4. We got hoarders and squanderers,
and they don't like each other. I tell you that.
They don't like each other. No. And now we're in circle 5, and that's wrath and sloth, right? Because those go together like. Like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Yeah. That seems really cruel. I mean, that's like getting like a fish tank, right? And you've got in there snails in your fish tank, and also moose. You go to the snails like, good luck in there with all the moose in there, snails. I hope they don't injure your little shells. Yeah. So we got the laziest people and the most angry people.
Most angry, violent people. Yeah.
Let's put those together.
Yeah. But it's
good luck, lazy people. Good luck, sloths.
Right. But no, Kynan, we do not have to worry about them. They're separated by feet of shit.
Not that their feet are made of shit.
No. But like lengthwise, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. So speaking of that, it's here that we get another river from Greek mythology. This is the river Styx.
Yes, I'm sorry I called that other river the river Styx before.
Yeah. Well, everyone remembers the river Styx, right?
Yeah.
Who remembers or that other one? Phlegethon. And here, so in Dante's version, it's like a dirty, marshy river of filth, like of slime or mud, or I have heard it referred to as the river of shit.
Oh yeah, I like that better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's appropriate.
So it keeps the two groups separate, right? The sloths and the wraths.
Yeah,
and the wraths are just so pissed about that. You just know they're like, I wish I'd get across this river of shit and fucking kill you.
Yeah. Oh no, they're both in it. They're separated though.
Right, but they're separated, so they can't get to them. So like, get you.
Yeah, but it's not. They're not horizontally separated.
Oh wait, how are they separated then?
Oh, you're gonna find out. Yeah. So yeah, in this nasty river, right? Like you can see all these naked souls, and they're fighting each other, and they're hitting each other with their hands and with their feet, and they're even just body slamming each other. They're biting and scratching each other, right? And Virgil explains that these are the wrathful, and they're doomed to fight each other in this river of shit for all eternity, right? And then Virgil's like, you didn't ask about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You might notice bubbles occasionally coming up and plopping on the surface of this river. That's from the slothful down below who weep and wail. Yeah, who weep and wail, but can never come up for air. You almost can't see them because the river is so thick with shit. But I just thought I'd let you know that they're down there, right? And now Dante, he's like, oh, I can see them now, right? And they're trapped under there in this shit river.
Okay, I totally misunderstood what that was. So the river doesn't separate them; they're separated within the river.
Yeah. And
so I guess that the wrathful are less dense than the slothful.
I guess, right? Yeah,
because they sink.
Yeah, right. They're so fiery that it rises to the top, right?
Right.
And they're just like, it's like sediment at the bottom of the river. They're just like, moo.
And again, you didn't ask, but what are these bubbles coming up? Where are these bubbles coming from?
Oh yeah, that's from them going.
Yeah, so you think it's top side and not bottom side bubbles?
Wait, what do you mean? Oh,
a burr of fart.
No, Kynan, a fart is satisfying. Like they're not allowed to fart in hell.
God help you if you fart.
No, that's just them going right and getting a mouthful of shit. That's what it is. It's like the diarrhea river, and every time they open, they try to go, and then it's just it's all poop. Yeah.
And this is a piece of world literature that we assign to our children.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You say you have to read this to be literate.
Yeah. It's religious, too. But yeah, okay. So they go around this river, and they reach the foot of a high tower, and that's how this canto ends. Mm-hmm. Now, before we get to the next canto, Kynan, we got our circles 4 and 5, right? What's going on in Kynan's Inferno?
All right. So my own contrapasso, ironic punishment for your sins. So circle 4 is about greed or squandering or hoarding, right? So I don't know if you know this about me, Lester, but I really hate like logos on clothes. It is one of my pet peeves. Yeah. And it's not as bad as it was like when we were kids, like when we were in high school, like it would just be Calvin, like in giant shirt. That was the shirt. And it was almost impossible for you to buy any shirt that didn't have that, Yeah. So I really resent it because I feel like somehow, when I was a kid, I was like, we're just billboards for the clothes that we wear. And I just really, really hated that. So I try not to have any of that stuff. So yeah, that the people who made that happen, who made it that like, we as human beings, as consumers, are just billboards for brands. That's what it is. So they're in there, and they maybe they get morphed into logos, so their body has to be made of like DKNY and Prada.
Oh wow!
And that's they just go around like that, just Wrangler on their asses, and that's just they don't have bodies anymore. They just have logo words.
Got it. I love it. Love it.
What about you?
Okay, so so for 4, right? Okay, so in keeping with the theme of spending and hoarding, I feel like my circle is just the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's endless tax forms. You don't know which one you need. I hate this so much. Every year I get help, and I still hate doing it. Right, like, and in my circle, the auditor is just like standing there staring at you as you try to fill out the form. I hate doing math in front of people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Also, right, I just can't do it. I freeze up. Right, but if you ever have a question like, "Hey, does this mean before or after deductions?" The auditor will be gone. Right,
Right.
and there's no one else in the office to help you. That is true hell. But the people in this hell, in Lester's Inferno, are the corporate and the admin team who nickel and dime you to death, who micromanage, who expect you to be there 15 minutes before starting time and stay late and come to all the fun unpaid work parties to show team spirit, and who waste your lunchtime with team building activities and also unpaid, right? But that's because they're feeding you pizza, which you get to make as a bonding exercise with your coworkers. Right. So yeah, so everyone in Solomon Co. basically is down there.
Right.
And they have to do taxes for all eternity, and they have to calculate just how much free labor they got out of you. That's circle 4.
And what about your 5? Your circle 5.
So my circle 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so my circle 5, it's still for the wrathful. But it's for the Karens, right? It's for the people who make a big scene at the store or the restaurant, right? They harass employees, right? They damage property, right. And their punishment is an anger management class taught by an infuriating person. Mm-hmm. Right. But like the type of infuriating that's just like, they're really calm and soft spoken. And for some reason, like when you're angry, that just really gets to you. Right. Mm-hmm. But every time you explode, the timer starts back over and you can't ever get up and leave. Right. The meeting never ends. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't do anything until the time runs out. But it never does, because someone in the circle always snaps because the teacher is just calmly talking and you just want to like strangle him.
But you can't.
Right. I'm realizing I might have a problem.
You might have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it's in my circle 5, right, I am much more slothful than wrathful. So I don't know if I should be taking
you went the sloth way, yeah.
Anger out on the sloth or the wrathful. But yeah, you know what? I guess I'm going to sympathize with the sloths here, which is sort of bringing it. But yeah, something I really don't like is people who respond to emails like they've sent you an email and then they get back to you way too early asking why you haven't responded to that email.
Oh, yeah.
Like the people who like write you on a Friday at 4:00 and then on Monday at 8:50, they're like, hello. Yeah. I've been waiting all weekend for this. And I don't work on the weekends. And like, well, I have 4 days for this, right? So yeah, I don't care for that at all. So yes, this is a pro sloth punishment. So yeah, that person would have to their circle of vision is only emails popping up for the rest of their lives. They can't see anything. They try to see one foot in front of them, and all they have is email pop-ups constantly. Boop, boop, and they have to try to work on closing those emails and responding to them. But every time they try to, another email comes up to block them. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Oh my God, I love it. This is great. Okay. But folks, now we are in. So back to Dante's Inferno. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. He knows nothing about emails, but or
he would probably write gigantic long emails.
He would write the worst fucking emails. Oh my
God. Just novels and novels of emails.
Jesus, right?
With hyperlinks.
It'd be in several parts. It'd be like Dante email Canto 1.
Right. Oh, it turns out I've reached the character limit on a Yahoo email. I didn't know that existed, but he says it every single time.
Right. Yeah. He saves enough space just to say that.
Right. That's just his email signature that he has at the end, at the bottom of every single one of them.
Yeah. Right. And then he faints. Right. He puts in little asterisks, faint.
Yeah. So so he has his email signature explaining the fact that he ran out of space and has to follow up another email. And then the beginning of every email, this is re-explaining that. And they're all, it's always like urgent, right? Time sensitive. I need this by the end of the day. But his always start with like, hey, sorry I didn't get back to you. I fainted again. had a really hard time over here.
I've been meaning to get that checked out. I went through our insurance and I've been trying to find a GP, but I was talking to Red Cross Red Shield, and they were listing off all the options, and I fainted there too on the phone. Yeah, so it's a real big problem. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're in Canto 8, and we just reached the foot of a high tower, and so Dante looks up and he sees that the top of the tower is lit up like a torch, and he looks out across the river Styx, and he sees way in the distance another torch flame answering it. So he figures, oh, the two towers must be like signaling each other, and so he asks Virgil what these signals mean. Instead of answering directly, Virgil just indicates another boat coming towards them. This one is piloted by, I'm going to try to say this, Phlegyas, I think. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Phlegyas says Dante can't enter. Virgil says, oh, yes, he can, because God says so. And Phlegyas gets real mad. And Dante quotes it, he says, like someone who has been cheated. But yeah, so he's mad that he has to carry Dante across the river Styx.
Okay. Like that's his job, is to not let people pass.
Well, his job is to only carry dead people, but like, so he doesn't want to have to. I think the idea is that Dante, as an alive person, is like heavier.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Right?
But he has to do it. So he's feeling like he's being asked to work overtime.
Gotcha.
It feels like, yeah.
And with no coins on.
And with no coins, yeah. Right? The hell's going on? But yeah, so they get in the boat and they begin to cross the river. But halfway across, someone pops out of the water, and Dante recognizes him as his bitter political rival, Filippo Argenti, right? None other than Filippo Argenti. Oh, Filippo Argenti, you, right? And after flinging insults at each other, Dante pushes him back into the water, and he turns and he says to Virgil, actually, I'd really like it if he suffered even more. And Virgil is totally okay with this. And Dante looks back, and all the other souls in the river are now like ganging up on Filippo, and they're forcing him deeper and deeper into the mud. And Dante's like, heh. No, he doesn't say that, but like I imagine the Dante writing that is like, yeah.
Oh, completely. So not to get too deep here, which would you prefer, that you are forgotten 800 years, or you are immortalized as some asshole in a river of shit? And I guess the third option is that you are immortalized as some secret mean girl pet name like Pig.
Yeah. You know what? I would still go with having a name, even if it's a bad name, because I mean, as we know, we're going to get to somebody who was given a really, really bad rap in ancient history, and time can have a way of straightening these things out. So my hope is that like eventually people will be like, well, Lester Argenti in the River of Shit in Dante's
right.
He was actually really
People write books about him, and they're like, oh, he's actually just fine.
Right. And then they listen to his podcast and they're like, oh, never mind. Yes.
Oh, never mind. You're right.
Back into the river of shit. But yeah, so okay, they're nearing the shore, and we see this fiery, fortified city. And Virgil says, we are nearing Dis. And Dante's like, nearing what? And he says, Dis. And Dante's like, what? And Virgil's like, no, Dis is the name of the city. And Dante's like, what is the name of the city? And Virgil's like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And Dante's like, that's what I'm asking. It's which canto? Which circle? Right? And Phlegyas is just like, oh, Jesus, every fucking time, right? That's his hell, right?
That's right.
He's like, and he's actually written before. He's like, can you change the name of the city? Because every single person I ferry across the river thinks that they're the first ones to make this joke.
Like, well, we can't change the city. It's named after our founder, Leonard Dis. It's part of our heritage.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so they get to the city of Dis, right? It's D-I-S, right? And they see 1,000 fallen angels sitting atop the gates, and they're all mad as hell, right? And that Dante is here, right? Again, as per usual. And they're all screaming and cursing and telling him he can't enter. Go back the way he came.
Right.
And again, Virgil calls up to them and he says, God has ordained that Dante be allowed through the city, and the angels don't care. They keep hurling obscenities, right? And Virgil's like, hey, come on, like let's talk privately about this. And the angels are like, okay, just you. The other guy's got to go, right? And Dante realizes he might have to go back through hell all by himself. So he asks Virgil not to abandon him, but Virgil's just like relax, I'm gonna go talk to these guys, and they'll let us in. It'll be fine, right? So he goes off a little way. I don't it's unclear whether he goes up onto the walls or if if the angels have come down and they're all like talking in a corner or something like that.
Yeah, they're used to falling. Might as well fall a couple more dozen feet. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's off a little bit talking with the angels alone. And for the first time, Dante looks around and he's realizing how alone like he would be if Virgil just like left him there. Right. But then Virgil comes back and he looks concerned for the first time. Right. Like, and meanwhile, all the angels have like fled back into the city and they have slammed the gates, right?
But it's a really big gate. It might take a while.
Right. Right. They're waiting.
Heavy.
They're waiting for that last insult right before the gate closes. It's like I got it. I thought of it. Your mother sucks cock somehow. Slam. But one of them was like overeager and he slammed it before, so it's just your mother sucks cocks it. Slam. Right. And just behind it, you hear Gary.
We've talked about this.
Yes. So we're not going to open it again. We just they get the gist, right?
It's going to take all morning to open it again.
I mean, honestly, what else do you suck in hell? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then Virgil's he comes back and he's muttering like, and this is the first time Dante has seen Virgil like this, right?
Right.
And it's like they said we can't come in. Like, who the hell do they think they are, right? And he's obviously mad, but like he says to Dante, he's like, don't worry. Like they do this all the time. They tried this with Jesus back when he showed up, and that was the first gate you saw, the abandon all hope ye who enter here, and that's open now. So I'm sure someone will come along and save us. Like heaven wants us to enter the city. Like we're the main characters.
That's right.
And so that's how this canto ends. Dante doesn't faint, right? So then we move on to Canto 9. And Dante's getting a little nervous here because Virgil seems nervous, right? You know how it is when someone who's like supposed to be in charge, who's supposed to have it all together, right, is suddenly at a loss, right? So that's what's going on here, right? And Dante asks Virgil if he or any of the other noble pagans, quote unquote, right, have ever been this deep in hell. And Virgil says, only once, right? He's talking about himself, right?
Oh.
Yeah, he's only been this deep once, right? And I had to look this up, folks. He says that he was summoned by the witch/necromancer Eryctho. That's Erictho. Eryctho is a fictional character in Pharsalia. That's an epic poem written by Lucan, whom we met in the first circle with all the poets.
Yeah.
So that's where Virgil lives too.
Yeah, they're neighbors.
But okay, but
they're in a bowling league together.
Yeah,
yes.
But in Pharsalia, Virgil is a character who gets summoned by another character, Eryctho, to go and fetch another character, a ghost named Rhesus.
So in Pharsalia, we also have Virgil as a character. So it's not like so it's not like Dante's the first person to do this kind of thing, I guess.
Right. Yeah. But so Lucan, who is buds with Virgil in this story, writes about Virgil,
right?
Puts him in his story, and this is the thing that Virgil is referring to, right? So here in Dante's story, Virgil is saying that when the sorceress Eryctho made him go and fetch Rhesus, he had to go all the way down to the deepest circle of hell to do it, and that's what he's referring to when he said he made this journey once before. But Kynan, like as we're like realizing as we say this whole thing is from another poem, the Pharsalia, by Lucan. In this story, Lucan lives with Virgil in limbo. So Dante is mixing these two realities. He's saying like the author, he's mixing the character Virgil with the author Virgil,
right? Who
is also a character in Dante's thing,
right? And I didn't know that part of it. I was gonna bring up that that the city of Dis is sort of in the Aeneid by Virgil.
Oh, okay.
So Dis is a Roman version of the underworld.
Wait, what is a Roman version of the underworld?
Dis.
What?
Dis.
Okay, we're not just...
Yeah, third base.
Yeah.
So
you yourselves made a reference to how stupid the joke is, and then you're doing it.
Yeah, so Virgil uses Dis as a location in the Aeneid. That's where Aeneas goes. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Huh. All right. Sister city of Dat. There we go. That's my contribution. Okay, so now, they're both nervous, right? They don't know what they're going to do. And then suddenly, the Furies show up. You know, the Furies from Greek myth, right?
Uh-oh.
Kynan, I really thought I remembered Dante borrowing from like a bunch of mythologies. But now, as I'm actually reading it, like it's all Greek. It's all Greek, right? It's Greek to me. Anyway, yeah. So he even names the Furies. Electo, Megara, and Tisiphone. Right. So yeah. So and he does it just like that. He's like, that's Electo, and that one's Megara, and and I guess like the first readers of Inferno probably know exactly who these ladies are, right? No need for explanation or anything.
Sure. Right. Exactly.
So these furies are screaming and wailing, right? And they start calling for. Oh wait, yeah. Should we describe what furies are?
They're usually women, right? I think they all are women. Yeah. And they come and they kind of hunt you, and usually the stories are like they're coming from some other place to get you. And they're like, and that's part of the fear of it, is that they're far away, and you have to dread them the whole time. And they're coming and destroying things on their way. And they're just going to come and eat you and rip you piece to piece.
They're like very, very like kind of like scary looking like bird human hybrid monstrosity things.
Yeah, and they're ladies.
Yeah, they're ladies, but they're not like sirens, and they're not like succubi. They're furies, right? Yeah, right.
They're no good.
Yeah, they ain't no good, right? But yeah, so these furies are screaming and wailing, and and they start calling for Medusa, and we all know Medusa. Everybody knows Medusa, right? And apparently she's down here in hell, which I think, okay, Kynan, I think in an earlier episode I alluded to how Medusa got a really bad rap. But I don't think we went into detail. Did we talk about like what actually happened to Medusa?
No, we were talking about her a little bit, like being her head getting cut off, and then them using her head as decoration in the temples. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But so folks, this scary monster lady was once a regular lady. She was a priestess in the temple of Athena, but she was apparently so beautiful that she attracted the attention of the god Poseidon, who attacked and raped her in Athena's temple. And so, yeah, that made Athena really angry. And you might be thinking, yeah, right? Angry at Poseidon, right?
Right.
No. She's angry at Medusa. Like, how dare you get raped in my temple? And so she punishes Medusa by turning her into this gross monster. Yeah. So, yeah, folks, that's the story of Medusa, or at least that's the one that people should know, right? Like,
right.
Like the one I'm sure we're all more familiar with, right? That's the one I grew up with is how the heroic Perseus, right, son of Zeus, right, Zeus, right, kills Medusa as ordered by Athena. So yeah, folks, the Greek gods, fucking petty, vindictive, sociopathic assholes, right? Although
Athena picks Poseidon over Medusa. Her uncle is Poseidon.
Yeah. So,
and then her cousin Perseus comes out. It's all messed up.
It's all messed up. Yeah.
And then later, before I can't remember, maybe it doesn't matter. Then Athena's at war with Poseidon as well. So whatever.
Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. I'm so done with the Greek gods. Yeah.
They're not nice.
No, they're not. Although it seems like now Medusa is kind of being re-examined from a feminist perspective, right? So like that part of the story is getting more light, and Medusa herself is being seen as an icon for like empowerment and resilience. No longer a monster, but a hero for her own story, and that's good.
Right.
Yeah. So fuck you, Poseidon.
But then Perseus got her head and uses her to go on his little adventures and stuff.
Yeah.
Turn people into stone.
Yeah. Fuck that guy too. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so anyway, so that's Medusa, right? But not here in Dante's Inferno. Here she is, a scary, ugly snake lady who is menacing our boys, right? Who cover their eyes to avoid being turned into stone, right?
Right.
But then the earth shakes, and Dante hears the sound of a fierce wind and a crash as of trees splintering, and Virgil tells him to open his eyes, and they look, and walking across the river Styx is a heavenly spirit. I'm guessing an angel, but they're never named, right? And all the lost souls in the river are fleeing as this messenger approaches, right? And so this messenger calls out and chastises the Furies and the fallen angels, and I guess Medusa too, and orders them to open the gates for our boys. And after this, Dante says the messenger walked back across the river with a look of one who is distracted by other thoughts. And I'm guessing like this is like, upper management has to go down and settle a dispute and just walk. I can see them walking back across the river. She's like, so many other things to do. But yeah, so that's it. It's like they're gone. And now the gates of the city of Dis are open to our boys, right? And they're gonna explore. And we were gonna end on the canto, but this canto actually kind of like follows our boys into the city of Dis. And I was like, man, like this is a much better like place to end. It is right outside the gates, right?
Right.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna end here. So for now, that is all of my notes.
All right. Well, that was great. Thanks, past Lester and Kynan.
Well, folks, I have been Lester Ryan Clark, both in the past and in the present. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I am immune to the bounds of time, and I've been Kynan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Instagram and Letterboxd at Howdy Kynan.
Yeah, find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at True Story FM. Like us on Instagram and join our Facebook listener group, Dante's Ninth Circle Sushi and Karaoke Bar, or feel free to drop us a message at thedevilsdetails@gmail.com. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5-pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks. Until next week, love and hisses. Mwah!
Mwah.